Hi, everyone. I'd just like to introduce myself. I'm Bianca. I am an inner child healing facilitator, and I also work very closely with spirit. So I do channel messages while I help people to connect with and heal their inner children. So I've been doing this work firstly on myself and then as a facilitator starting around 18 years ago when I was in my mid-20s and a very damaged person. And I truly believe that I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for putting in the work to heal and love my inner children. And I say inner children because there are many phases of childhood that we go through and very different things that are applicable and build on one another as we go through our childhood. And the reason why I think it's very important now for us to truly make sure that we have healed out our wounded child and embraced and created and reparented our inner child to be thriving is because we are making that step between 3D and 5D. And the thing with 5D is we can't, it is impossible to take your baggage in with you. You have to leave it at the door. And a lot, in fact, most of that baggage has its origin in a wounded childhood. And we all have childhood wounds. Not one of us has escaped them. So I think it behooves all of us to really go and take a look with fresh eyes at where we can reclaim our inner children and drop the baggage to create a brighter future for ourselves and the world. It's really, really important. We're at the pinnacle. So today I'm going to chat a little bit about the first stage of childhood. Of course, that is a lot of it can be in the womb, depending on your mother's pregnancy. But what we truly are going to look at is after you've been born until you're around 9 months old, which is infancy. So a lot of people think that we don't pick up issues in infancy because we don't understand language yet. We can barely see properly when we pop out the womb. However, that is the stage where our safety, nurturing, and trust lies. So I would like you to quickly think about the following. How safe do you feel today in your personal relationships? How comfortable are you with emotional and physical intimacy? How nurturing are you towards yourself? Be honest. You may be an excellent nurturer of other people, but not towards yourself. Is that true for you? Can you trust that the people who are important in your life, your family, your closest friends, the people who are traditionally kind of expected to be there for you, can you trust that they will be there for you? And how comfortable are you asking to have your needs met? And we're talking about needs. How deserving of love and care do you feel today? How connected do you feel to the world in general? And do you feel that the world is a safe place, or do you kind of feel that it's not? Do you have a strong support system and community? Or do you kind of feel like you have to take on everything by yourself? So that's all the stuff that comes from mostly or begins at the age of 0 to 9 months. And the reason that happens is because as a baby, so you pop out the womb, and the only way for you to communicate your needs is by lying there and crying. Now, if you were raised in the age of Dr. Spock, which meant let the child cry it out. They'll be fine for 5 minutes. You know, let them self-soothe themselves, learn to self-soothe. Put them in another room and shut the door and don't stress about it when they cry. And there's a whole generation of us who were raised this way, by the way. Then what that little one takes on and assumes when nobody comes, when I'm wet, hungry, tired, need a cuddle, lonely, when my needs, my physical and survival needs are not met instantly at that age, all the time, or at least the vast majority of the time, then what you assume as that infant is that the world is not a safe place. My needs are not taken care of by other people. I can't trust anybody else to do it for me. Nurturing is not an inherent part. Self-nurturing and being nurtured by others is not an inherent part of being a human being on this planet. These are all things that you inherently will take on. And very often it's not even Dr. Spock or, you know, being abandoned by your parents or having terrible parents, or it doesn't have to be that traumatic. It could be something like, in my case, I wasn't breathing when I was born. I was severely underweight, even though I was term, and they had to take me and put me in an incubator and help me breathe. And they took me away from my mother, took me away from all the safety I had ever known, and put me in an incubator for 2 weeks, where there was minimal touch. There was no breastfeeding. There was no cuddling. There was no being adored. There was no, my basic needs were provided for when the nurses had a chance. But there was none of what that very small, little, fragile thing needed emotionally to feel safe, to feel nurtured, to feel loved. Just killing WhatsApp because it's pinging. Okay. So if today you feel like things like you fear closeness and intimacy, you don't feel like your needs are ever met or could ever be met or should ever be met by other people, you don't want to be a nuisance, you feel desperately alone and unable to connect, and very often that's where a lot of depression comes in, because depression is a disease of disconnect. And if you were so severely disconnected from your mother or your primary caregiver between birth and 9 months, then, well, you didn't learn what you needed to learn, did you? Which is that the world can be a safe place. That you have an inherent right. It is your birthright to have your needs met. That intimacy and love are a regular, accepted part of everyday life. That you are safe, that the universe provides for you. The moment you need, the universe steps up and brings it. That is what an infant or an inner infant who feels safe, nurtured, loved, and can trust that their needs are provided for is going to be experiencing. And the beauty about inner child work is when we can go to that inner infant, which is a part of our psyche, and we can reparent, meaning reprogram that part of the psyche's experience of safety, nurturing, and trust. Then what we can do is remove the blockages to us in the present and in our future, feeling safe, nurtured, and trusting. And so that is the magic of inner child work. It's daunting for some. It can be very daunting to have to go and look at stuff you don't necessarily maybe want to see, especially if you had quite a traumatic childhood. However, in my opinion, it's the only fast and lasting way to really deal with those things, is to reprogram. And if we can reprogram at the age where it happened, then of course the effects of it will be so much more powerful. So what can you do to help your inner infant? Firstly, get to know them. You don't remember that time in your life. Most of us don't remember much. I've got glimpses, but that's very unusual. I have glimpses of after my birth, but I accessed that through many years of meditation. But you don't have to do that. You can recall the stories that your parents told you about how the world was. Was your mother sick? Were you sick as an infant? Was there tension in the home? Were you wanted or unwanted, or a surprise baby? What was their parenting style? Were they following Dr. Spock's recommendations of letting the child cry it out, or did they insist on wearing you and keeping you with them and making sure that you were healed? Were you one of many children? Were you firstborn? That kind of stuff can give you clues about what you experienced. And then another thing that you can do is go into meditation and hold that baby that you were. Reparent them, literally go into meditation and hear their needs and give it to them in meditation. And there's a little free gift that I'll speak of at the end of this. Look at how you nurture yourself. Start giving that to yourself, whether it feels foreign, and especially if you're craving nurturing and you never had it and you're not used to it, then you're going to need to start doing nurturing, intense nurturing that will feel foreign at first. Asking for little things from people that are surefire people that you know will respond. Asking them to help you get your needs met can feel very daunting, but you can do it. But don't ask for big things, and don't ask it from people that you know you can't trust and won't come to the party, because that just reinforces the disappointment. So gather your allies. Treat your senses, play with colors, play with light, play with sound, all of that stuff. That is a baby's world. That's their discovering. And then have a look at what your critical voice is telling you about how deserving you are of safety, nurturing, and being able to trust your world. So that's a little bit about the infant child and how to get started. I have a free inner child meditation to go and meet your inner child at any age. And it's on my website, www.thrivehive.co.za. So you can go and download that meditation there. Or there is also a free mini course there on how you think, how you feel, and how you choose, and how to change thinking, feeling, and making new choices. So if you'd like access to that, just hop onto my website, www.thrivehive.co.za. And you can check out, I've got some 9-week inner child online journeys that happen. You can check out when the next one is, or contact me if you want to do some one-to-one inner child healing work. We can always help you with that as well. So remember, we need to nurture ourselves. We need to heal ourselves. We need to heal our inner children so that we are standing in our most joyful, most abundant, most deliciously whole selves, and in our true, authentic power in order to step into that fifth dimension. It'll be so much nicer if we do. Have a gorgeous day.